Good morning. This is Dr. Masoodan Reddy, PBR WITS Kavali. This video for second BTech first SEM EE students. Subject is Basic Electrical Circuits, Unit 2. Unit 1 already covered with 6 videos. And this Unit 2 is AC Fundamentals. So in this I'll go for discussing about in this session average value, form factor and peak factor, phase and phase difference, complex or rectangular form representation, polar form representation, conversion of rectangular to polar and vice versa. First start with, already I covered one video. In the earlier video, I covered RMS value and basic fundamentals of alternating circuit and introduction. Now average value of AC current. Here we listen carefully. This is a alternating quantity. In this alternating quantity, here we see that this we consider only half cycle. In this half cycle, each and every instant, at this instant V1, at this instant V2. So like this, we taken all these instants in n values, n number of intervals we consider for half cycle. When we consider n interval of half cycle, the average of this divided by the base indicated as the average value of this AC current. This can be determined with the help of two methods, graphical method and analytical method. First we start with the graphical method. I'll explain the graphical method. Consider n equal intervals for half cycle, and these n intervals, each and every interval have individual, actually in this figure shows the voltage, but we go for currents also. Average value of current over half cycle I1 plus I2 plus I3 divided as IN divided by N is indicated as average value of current. So similarly, V average is equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3 plus that as Vn by N. Then average value we want to determine with the help of analytical method. So earlier case we taken a total half cycle divided into n equal intervals. But in this case, we taken a small portion. We want to determine area of this total curve. No need to take this total curve. Take a small portion, integrate this portion, we will get this a total area of this particular half cycle of this alternating quantity. So therefore, the average value can be taken mathematically by taking the approximation of the area under the curve at various intervals to the distance or length of the base, and this can be using a rectangle. So this is one rectangle. You take any one of that. So from this, we know that basically I is equal to Im into sine theta. So I average is equal to area under half cycle divided by length of base half cycle. So here, this area under half cycle, already I told you, we taken a small portion of I that we want to integrate, then only we will get into the area. So area is equal to 1 by pi integral, actual area is equal to integral of 0 to pi I d theta. And length of base cycle is pi. Why? Because half cycle we consider 0 to pi. So this integral of I into d theta is area of under half cycle, and pi indicated as length of base cycle. So we will continue that. I is equal to Im into sine theta, we substitute that. Again we will take Im outside. Integral of sine theta is minus cos theta, and substitute the limits 0 to pi. Therefore here Im by pi minus cos pi plus 0. Here minus cos pi is nothing but cos pi is nothing but minus 1, minus of minus plus 1. Cos 0 is nothing but 1. So 1 plus 1, 2. Therefore 2m by pi. So here the average value of sinusoidal cycle should be equal to 2 into Im by pi. So here 2 by pi should be equal to 0.637 times this Im. So therefore, the average current of any half cycle will reach at 63.7% of maximum value. See that here, 63.7% of maximum value. Here, the 63.7% of maximum value will be reached by average value. So that is nothing but the average. So similarly, V average is also 2 Vm by pi, 0.637 times this magnitude of voltage. Next, factors of AC quantities. There are two factors are there, form factor and peak factor. First we start with the form factor. What is the form? The ratio of RMS value to average value is called as form factor. Form factor is equal to RMS value by average value. So here RMS value is nothing but Im by root 2. Average value is nothing but 2 Im by pi. So Im by root 2, 2 Im by pi. We evaluate this, finally we will get the solution as 1.11. So the form factor of a sinusoidal alternating current or voltage should be equal to 1.11. Is a fixed value. Then another factor is called as the crest factor, or also called as the peak factor. It is represented with a Kp. Form factor is represented with a Kf. No units. Then the peak or crest factor is the ratio of maximum value to RMS value is called as the peak factor or crest factor. Therefore, maximum value by RMS value. So for example, maximum value is Im divided by RMS is Im by root 2. Therefore, Im gets cancelled. Root 2 is 1.414. Therefore, it is a fixed value. The peak factor for a sinusoidal alternating current or voltage should be equal to 1.414. So we remember, summarize these factors. There are two factors, form factor, RMS value by average value, and for sinusoidal 1.11. Peak factor, maximum value by RMS value. For a sinusoidal alternating quantities, the value is 1.414. Next, very important topic is phasor representation of an alternating quantity. See here, this line indicated as a length of phasor is a rotating vector. We remember what is the definition of this. Phasor is a rotating vector which contains a fixed length of magnitude with like a length of line, and which have a arrow. That arrow shows the direction, and which how much of angle which rotates indicated as theta is equal to omega t is called as a phasor. So see here, this phasor is rotating from, it is a 0, 90, 180, 270, 360. So when it is 0, okay, here. When it is 90, this is the maximum. When it is 180, it reaches to the again 0. Increase, reach it to maximum, and decrease to 0. After then again increase it in reverse mode. So increase it in reverse mode, it reaches to the 270, 3 pi by 2, and decrease it slowly and reach it to the 360, and at 360 it reaches to the 0. So like this, an alternating waveform will cover positive and negative half cycle is the representation of a rotating phasor. The rotating, when which rotates 360 degrees, one cycle is formed, positive half cycle and negative half cycle, 0 to pi positive half cycle, pi to 2 pi negative half cycle. So he is called as a phasor representation. See that the sinusoidally varying alternating quantity can be represented graphically by a straight line with an arrow. The length of the line represents magnitude of quantity, either voltage or current. And the arrow indicates the direction. So in which direction the arrow. And it is a vector representation. Such a line is called as a phasor. Phasor is a rotating vector which rotates in anti-clockwise direction with uniform angular velocity omega. Omega equal to 2 pi f. F is the frequency. Frequency is nothing but number of cycles per second multiplied by total pi into 2 into pi is nothing but 360 degrees. So 360 degrees for half cycle. So this degrees multiplied by frequency indicated as the angular frequency. Next we'll come back to the phase difference. Phase are only for single phase, but when we'll go for this phase difference, whenever two phasors are there, then only we can know about this, what is the phase difference. For example, consider two alternating quantities having same frequency and having different maximum values, different magnitude. V is equal to Vm sin omega t, one phasor. I is equal to Im into sin omega t minus theta is the second phasor. This theta is called as the phase difference. If theta is 0, then these two are same. If theta is equal to 90 degrees, it lags. If theta is equal to minus 90, minus or minus plus, therefore it leads. So like this. So where theta is the angle between voltage and current are also called as phase angle. Based on this theta, based on this magnitude of theta, there are three phasors are there. If theta is 0, these two are same. V is equal to Vm sin omega t, I is equal to Im sin omega t. Is nothing but in phase phasors. If theta is equal to 90 degrees, then current lags an angle 90 degrees by voltage phasor. So lagging. Then if theta is equal to minus 90, so minus of minus plus, therefore we get into that. So therefore we are having this, and I mean plus 90, we are having lagging phasors. If it is minus 90, we are having this leading phasors. So therefore here we are having current leads an angle 90 degrees by V. Such phasors are called as leading phasors. So we summarize it this here. Pi is or theta is a phase difference between voltage and current, is also called as a phase difference. Based on this magnitude or based on this value, there are three types of phasors: in phase phasor, lagging phasor, and leading phasor. Then in phase phasors. V is equal to Vm into sin omega t, I is equal to Im into sin omega t. Both, but magnitude may be changes. See here, this green indicated as a current phasor, yellow indicated as a voltage phasor. See that both phasors start at 0, both phasors close at 180 degrees, both phasors reach at maximum 90 degrees, and both phasors reversely reached at 270 degrees, both phasors reached at 0. So such a phasors or representation is called as in phasors. So the angle between voltage and current is 0, that is phase difference is 0. So such a type of vectors are called as phasors, is called as in phase phasors. Then we will come back to the lagging phasor. V is equal to Vm sin omega t, I is equal to Im into sin omega t minus theta. So here the current phasor lags an angle theta by voltage phasor. See here, this is the angle between voltage and current. This lags an angle theta. So in this, the current phasor lags an angle theta by voltage phasor are called as lagging phasors. Then we will come back to the leading phasor. V is equal to Vm into sin omega t, I is equal to Im into sin omega t plus theta. Mean the current phasor starts first, then voltage phasor. So the current phasor leads an angle theta, So this is about the phasors. So the current phasor leads an angle theta by voltage phasor are called as lagging phasor. Here we remember always when it is lead or lag, we should be represent a reference phasor. So in these three cases, the reference phasor is voltage. By taking reference phasor as voltage, the current phasor either leads or lags or in phase we decided. Otherwise, if you don't know the reference phasor, we cannot know which phasor is leads or lags. So we remember we should take the reference phasor, then only we will discuss about either in phasor or lagging phasor or leading phasor. Then rectangular form representation. See here, what is this rectangular form representation? It is a complex number. Generally, it is a complex number. That number we want to represent. That number can be represented as a point of two-dimensional plane. Two-dimensional plane, nothing but x-axis and y-axis. X-axis should be considered as a real part, y-axis should be considered as an imaginary part. So based on these two-dimensional part, so we want to represent complex number, for example, x and y. X is a real number, y is imaginary number. So therefore here you see that, so this is the magnitude of x and this is the magnitude of y. So this point represents the complex number, with complex number representation of x plus jy. So here j is an imaginary part which is used to separate real part and imaginary part, which always placed near to the imaginary part. So this representation of complex number is called as rectangular form representation. So we remember any rectangular form should contain real part and imaginary part separated by j notation or j operator. That is called as an example. Z is equal to x plus jy, where x is real part and y is imaginary part. Imaginary part is separated with j notation. Then polar form representation. Polar form representation is also a complex number, is another way to represent a complex number which contains only magnitude and angle. Example you see here, z is equal to r at an angle theta. R is magnitude, so this r indicated as, so the r indicated as vectorial sum of this x and y. So vectorial sum of this x and y is equal magnitude of r, and angle theta. Theta is tan inverse of imaginary part by real part, tan inverse of y by x. So we are getting as a polar form here, where r represents absolute value or modulus, and the angle theta is called as argument of the complex. That also we can able to calculate. Theta is equal to tan inverse of imaginary part divided by real part. Imaginary part is y, real part is nothing but x. So therefore, theta is equal to tan inverse of y by x. R is equal to square root of x square plus y square. Then conversion of rectangular to polar form. See here, we should follow some steps. First step 1, consider the rectangular form of complex number z is equal to x plus zy. Then we want to convert it to the polar form. First we want to calculate magnitude of complex number z. What is that? Z is equal to square root of x square plus y square. Then we want to calculate step 3, determine the angle of argument. Determine the argument or theta of complex number z. Theta is equal to tan inverse of imaginary part y divided by x. Therefore tan inverse of y by x. And substitute all these. And z is equal to magnitude of z at an angle theta. This magnitude is square root of x square plus y square. Angle is tan inverse of y by x. So this indicated as a polar form. Polar form should contain only magnitude and angle, which may represent it in terms of modular form. Mean if it is even minus also, it becomes as a positive. Next, conversion of polar to rectangular form. Here also we follow the steps. First, consider the polar form of complex number. Z is equal to magnitude z at an angle pi. Then we want to evaluate real part and imaginary part of this z. How to evaluate? Z is equal to z into cos theta plus j into sin theta. Z into cos theta is called as the r, real part. Z into sin theta is called as imaginary. Here you see that z into cos theta is x, z into sin theta is y. Now we resubstitute this. So therefore, rewrite this polar form in rectangle. Therefore, z is equal to r plus x plus jy, like this in this form, x plus jy, z is equal to x plus jy by replacing. So this is the representative of this z is equal to x plus jy, is the representation of rectangular form of complex number. Next, j notation. J is an operator which is used to separate real part and imaginary part, which is always placed near to the imaginary part only. So z is equal to x plus jy. See here, y is imaginary part. We always place j as near to the imaginary part. Thank you. Stay at home, stay safe.